Hey, Katie.
Hey,
Thanks for joining me.
yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so for everybody that doesn't know Katie, I'm going to introduce her. This is my sister, aka esthetician extraordinaire. She's the one who's always responsible for my beautiful lashes. And she's also one of my long-term clients. And so today I'm having her sit down with me and she's going to talk with me a little bit about the results that she's seen in her life through coaching with me. And then also kind of just talking about timeline expectations and some other elements of coaching that are really important for you guys to know if you're interested in doing it. So, Katie, why don't you first start us out by talking about some of the biggest results you've seen through coaching?
Oh my gosh, where to begin? I feel like I've seen in so many different categories of my life. I mean, relationships, like being a mom, like just myself as a mom, my co-parenting relationship with my ex-husband, my business has been a huge one. Yeah, just kind of like all three of those are like, I guess, highlighted for
Mhm.
me.
Can you talk about each one individually, like kind of the before and after, like the shifts that you saw? Let's start with maybe the relationship area.
Okay, so before, I was just kind of stuck in a cycle, I guess you could say, of drawing in a certain type of person, and then also just kind of where I was at energetically within dating and stuff like that. And I just kind of kept going backwards, like not really backwards. I think I was moving forward, but it was like I was on the treadmill trying to go. I was moving, but I wasn't really getting anywhere, which I feel like is what most people feel like in life, the hamster wheel, you know? And when I started working with you, it was like I eventually like slowed down off the hamster wheel or the treadmill and then got off. And I was like, oh, I can actually move now. Like it was just a decision to get off the treadmill and like move forward. So I ended up like ending the relationship that was constantly coming back for years, for good. And after that, like I just really felt so much in my life shift. It was insane. And then we started kind of working on like dating again and all that. So that's been a huge
Mhm.
shift. Like I think the biggest shift for me right now is like I'm truly okay being single and I'm happy being single. And I don't really even like, I think about being in a relationship, but I don't really think about it. Like, I don't know. It's just very different. I'm like, who am I? Because I was like a serial dater.
Yeah, I was gonna say for you, that's huge because you had the pattern of just kind of jumping from relationship to relationship. And so
Yeah.
for like getting you to the point where you were super happy being alone is huge. Like
Yeah.
everybody has, and I think that's something really key to point out here is like everybody's process and the results we get you is gonna be different because like for me, I had been single for years before I started dating. So I was okay. Like for me,
Yeah.
jumping into relationships was what I needed. For you, being single for a while was what you needed. And working on
Yes.
like us working on being able to raise your own self-value to where you were like saw that you deserved better and moved
Yeah.
on and then were happy alone was such a
Yeah.
huge accomplishment for you.
Yeah. Oh,
So
definitely.
then let's talk about your kind of experiences with the co-parenting stuff that we worked on. Like what was the before and after there?
I would say that's the most dramatic of all the things and the most unexpected. I still am shocked
And
sometimes.
I think the one with the least hope. We have the least
Yeah.
hope in that area just as far as like the
Oh
things that have
man.
gone down.
You know, when they say that you have a mustard seed or whatever of hope or whatever, that was about the size of hope that I had.
Yes.
But I held on to it. I had the worst relationship with my ex-husband. I mean, oh God, it was awful. Court battles, like fighting all the time, just like constantly feeling like I was a victim and just I had no control. It was so miserable. And that's something I really didn't want to work on because I mean, I wanted to, but I didn't want to. I knew I needed to, but I didn't want to work on it, but
Right.
I did. And it just kind of came up naturally. Like after I shed one issue, kind of like brought up another one that I could deal with. So I feel like once I dealt with the whole relationship stuff, then we worked more on this. It was kind of
Right.
simultaneous, but the focus kind of went to the co-parenting stuff. And it was so weird how things ended up working out, and just my mindset on things. Like, I really changed, like, working through all this stuff. I really changed my thoughts to, like, that I wasn't a victim. And that was a lot. We did a lot of sessions on that. Like, I wasn't, or not a lot on that specific issue, but like in the compass of that, like, I wasn't a victim. I do have control over my life and myself, and he's not coming after me and all these things. And so it just made me less like suspicious and less, oh my God, he just texted me. That's so funny.
Oh, that always happens.
That's so weird.
That happens so many times where like I'm coaching somebody about someone and like that person will text them or call them
That's
while we're coaching.
Wild.
Yeah. So crazy.
That's so funny. I don't even remember why. Like, I don't even know why he would be texting me, but anyways. So yeah, I just changed my mindset to be like less suspicious, less like, oh, he's coming after me and I have to always have my guard up and blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, the trust is definitely a work in progress. You have to build that over time.
Yeah.
But I'm not like sitting here thinking that he's just after me all the time anymore.
Yeah.
And it's really
one thing that I want to interject with is like another thing is that you were so willing to take responsibility for your part of your, what am I trying to say? Like your part in the play, so to speak. Like you took so much responsibility for like, I'm willing to look at whatever I need to see in myself to get myself healed from this and get through this situation. Like you really took a hard look at yourself in the dating arena and in the co-parenting arena, like how you were contributing to this dance. And that was huge. I mean, that's such a key, like kind of requirement for coaching is like, you have to be able to take responsibility. And I feel like you can attest to this. I really work hard at doing it in a very kind way that never feels judgy. Like, that I'm not like how, you did this to yourself, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, here's how the thoughts that you were believing were like, and things that you were conditioned in throughout your life or childhood or your experiences were causing you to show up in this way and then contribute to the situation. So it's like always a very, I feel like it's a very non-judgmental, like kind.
Oh yeah, for sure. It reminded me, I had someone tell me, like a professional one time tell me like, oh, your sister can't be your therapist or your coach. She's never going to be able to tell you what you need to hear and to help you. And I was just like, okay, whatever. Like I didn't even fight her on it because I'm just like, you have no idea how much she's helped me. And just because you're my sister doesn't mean you can't be my coach. It's just, you put on that hat with me. Like you're my coach when we have sessions,
Oh my gosh.
Just like
that's a good point.
Just like I'm your esthetician and not your sister when I'm doing your lashes and facials. You know what I mean? I treat you the exact same way I do all of my clients. I show up on time.
Yeah, yes, you're super professional with me. And I will say that's such a good point because I think actually I've had to refine my skills of like how to approach things with you, even more so with you than other people, which has helped me be a better coach for other people because you are my sister. And I know there are like buttons I could press that are like, family dynamic things that if I don't be careful, I could like set off a bomb. Yeah. And so I had to learn how to really be even more like have more finesse and be more kind of like delicate about how I approach things. But clearly I did because we got through the root of the issues. And I remember there being times where like we had to deal with some things like family dynamics or stuff with your ex and things like that. And I had to be really delicate about, okay, I know this is like not something you want to look at, but this is this is like the root of the situation. And like, I think me being careful and you being so willing and open to go there, I think were just the two things that we both needed to have.
Yeah. There were times where I was downright pissed. Like, I was like, not because you're my sister, but just because you were poking at something I did not want to look at and I did not want to see. And I was frustrated and felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. And I was just like, screw this. This isn't helping, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, huge breakthrough. Yeah. It's just, we have to be willing to look at the things that we don't want to look at that are uncomfortable. Yeah. And I think that is the biggest thing for me in this process is, it's like the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Like, you're the water and I'm the horse and you're leading me to the water or the healing is the water, whatever. But you can't sit there and be like, you have to do this work. You have to heal. You have to do this. Like that's your choice as a client. Hiring a coach is to make the conscious decision. Okay, this is my responsibility. I hired this person. I'm paying this money and it's good money. And I am going to do the damn work to get all the results that I want, because why else did I hire a coach? Like, why would you not do the work? And so every time we have a session, like, I really do.
Bravo. Well said.
Thank you. I mean, I really do the work on my own outside of our sessions. And I mean, that's where it really,
yeah.
the
So let me
biggest stuff
interject there, because
happens.
you're segueing to something that I wanted to cover. And that is, so let's talk a little bit about the business coaching and then like the doing the work aspect, because I really wanted to talk about that. So first of all, let's say this. I want to clarify something too. We've been working together for a little over a year. I think it's been like a year and 3 months, a year and 3 months.
Yeah.
And I would say for that first 6 months, we strictly focused on like the ER 911 situations in your life.
Yes.
The co-parenting relationship, because it was literally just like your stress levels were so through the roof, you couldn't cope. You were just shutting down. Like I remember your brain just like shutting down.
It was so bad.
It was bad. And then the relationship situation, because it was like one of those, like if you'd been in it for like almost 4 years at that point, it was like getting really unhealthy. And you were like, I got to make a decision about
it. Was like in my face all the time.
Yeah.
I couldn't avoid it. Yeah.
And so it's like, I really want to stress that like I sell coaching in 6-month packages. And this is a really typical pattern that I see for people, in that the first 6 months typically tend to be a lot of like deep healing and like getting you unstuck from the place you're in. Like I said, the 911, like if I don't deal with this stuff, I can't move on, because it is human nature. You can't build or thrive and grow if you're still in survival mode. Mm-hmm. We have to get your brain out of survival mode and out of the patterns that are keeping you completely stuck and just spinning your wheels, like you said, the hamster wheel, in order to start building. And so this is something I really wanted to talk about in here, is just like the expectations of coaching and the timelines. Like, yes, we did tons of healing. We did tons of breakthrough during that time. But that was like the foundation that we laid that got you out of where you were and like able to move forward. Yeah. Then the other like 6 months, I would say after that, we really started working on building our business, right? Mm-hmm. That was where we got to do like the big goals, like the really big growth, right? And so this was around the time that you were, I think just fresh out of school. Yeah. You were fresh out of school for a couple months. Yeah. Yeah. And you were kind of just like trying to get clients, but kind of struggling here and there, just kind of getting like ones trickling in, right? Your confidence is in the tanker, right? Yeah. As are most students that come out of school, right? Our confidence is always in the tanker. Right. So talk me through that next 6 months of like focusing more on business while still weaving in relationships and, co-parenting things as they came up. But talk me through kind of the business side of things that we worked on.
I mean, we did kind of like delve into the business side a little bit, like towards the end of 2020, but I would say we really got like hardcore into it. The beginning of 2020, like January.
It was January.
Okay. Yeah. And January was when I was like, I just kind of had this like, okay, I have to find like my own space to practice my aesthetics. I have to find a room. And I completely did the work to get that, because I feel like I manifested this place like so perfectly. The way it happened, it just like came to me and it felt right. And it was just perfect. And I'm so happy there. I love the people I work with. And then, I mean, I took that leap. I was terrified. I didn't have that many clients. Like my booth rent was too much. Like I would have been losing money every week, but I had some people that were like, okay, well, I can help you, and I was like, okay, well, I really don't want you to help me, but I'll try to do it on my own. But I didn't know if I could. And I never ended up needing anybody's help. I did like specials and sales and I just took off. And I mean, I've had my lulls as we work through some stuff, but I've progressively done this going up, so it's really been amazing to watch myself grow. And I still don't fully believe like I'm actually like living my dream and doing something I love. And making money. It's amazing.
So I remember that we started like December-ish, we started talking about, or maybe it was like right before you got that space in January. I can't remember exactly, but I remember coaching you about your ability to like take the leap and get the space. And you were so
Yeah.
freaked out because you didn't at the
Yes.
time have the clients to be able to
Yeah.
support the income. And so we talked a lot about like, you know, in that moment, like what was aligned for you was like taking the leap and believing that you were going to get the clients. And we were working on like how to make that happen for you. And so
Yeah.
we knew that we could support that decision. And so I think we calculated that you could at least pay for that month based on what you knew you had like projected.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, if we can do a month, we can keep growing it. And so you did. And like within, I think like a week or two of doing the space, you texted me and you were like, I have all the money already for my next month. It was insane. Like that was so crazy. But I feel like then, like from that point on, it just became a journey of us like working on your belief in yourself and getting past your own like hurdles of like what was keeping you from like taking the actions that you could take to actually grow your business and get more clients. And like, you know, anytime there was a lull, there was like an area where you'd stop believing and then like start not working on like doing the work to get clients, like posting and running specials and things. Then we break you past that and then you grow again. And you're right. Like this is a very typical entrepreneurial path right here. Yeah. Right. Like up and a little bit of a lull.
And let me tell you, when you hit that little lull, no matter how much you're going up the ladder, you feel like you're going down a million steps and you're just nowhere in life and you're failing and it's miserable. And it takes a little bit of training in your mind to just be like, okay, no, we're fine. This is just the process. You are an entrepreneur. Like we'll have our model session with Jenny, you know, every week and it'll be fine. Like,
oh my gosh. I love that you said that because seriously, this is something I talk through every entrepreneur about. Like is I call it the staircase. You grow, plateau, grow, plateau.
Yes.
I didn't even mean for that to rhyme, but it's
so funny. Grow and plateau.
Really and those plateaus are where you freaking need coaching because if you don't get the coaching there, you get stuck there because your brain will absolutely start telling you, I don't know how I did this the first time. It was a fluke and I'm stuck here now and I'm not going to grow anymore. And so like you have to get some mindset work done to get out of that plateau and have a next little phase of growth.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I was just thinking that too, like right where the plateaus are every time we had a session. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready to take the next step. And that's the thing is like, people don't realize that it is a step-by-step basis. It's not, you can't just go from here to here just like that. I mean, maybe randomly you can, but like most of the time you have to just take those steps and work through your stuff to get to where you want to be.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good point. Kind of made me think about like, the challenge of entrepreneurship really is working through your mental blocks, like the lies you're believing about yourself. I mean, the work that we do is thought-based and yet you're making money. And a big reason for that is that we work through the beliefs and the thoughts and the lies you're believing about yourself and all your own limitations in your mind, because then it frees you up to go take action and do something with that. So then
I was just thinking that too. I was thinking about that. It was kind of funny because mom and I, you know, our mom drove out to Colorado Springs with Jackson this week. And I was on my way back, just like I was driving and just processing through stuff. And there's some areas that I want to grow in. And I was just like, you know, okay, this is what I need to do. Like, these are the practical steps I need to take, but I can feel there's some resistance and I feel that there's some things I need to work on. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to have my session with Jenny this week. And then I'm going to still write down the things that I want to do so that whenever I work through the model, which is like instant, like it usually is an instant shift. Yes. Thank you. And then I will take the practical and put it into it. And then it's like, then the practical, the steps I have to take are easy. Like they're fun, easy, flowy. Everything comes to you. So yeah.
I love that you said that because that has been one of the biggest things that has created such success for you is that you didn't just show up consistently for coaching, which you did, but also you were willing to do whatever work was necessary outside of sessions.
Yeah.
And that's something I really want to drive home is if you approach coaching, like I'm only going to commit to being there in sessions, 1 hour a week. Okay. You're going to have that much growth.
Yeah, you'll get nowhere.
I mean, well, you're still going to get somewhere because you're going to have a lot of mindset shifting. You know this.
That's true.
But I get where you were saying, like, if you're trying to build a business or something,
you'll be very slow.
Right. Yes, it is going to be very slow. Like, you have so much control over the pace of your growth and breakthrough by how much work you're willing to put in between sessions. If you're only willing to show up during sessions for 1 hour a week and work on your mind, yes, you're going to get you're still going to get tons of breakthrough because we're rewiring your brain.
That's
so
true.
Like, you're going to walk away with a different brain than you had before. However, you can't build a business based on it, like, mindset work alone. Like, if I sat around and only did mindset work on myself, like, and didn't post about my business and share what I do and work on my skills and coach people, I wouldn't be getting anywhere. Right. And so you have to be willing to really get the big results. You have to be willing to put in the work in between sessions, whether if we're working on dating, if that looks like you're going and you're, working on editing your dating profile and, putting in, I have a whole host of like dating coaching that I do. So like with different worksheets and like guidelines and stuff. It's like, you have to be willing to put that stuff into practice and like change how you're doing dating if you want to get a different result.
That's so true.
If we're working on business coaching, you have to be willing, like so many times that we've talked about, like I showed you how to start getting more consistent clients and changing your pricing and, speeding up your times. That was a really big deal in the beginning with your lashes and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, you took every single time we talked about those things, you took it and you did it.
Yeah. And it's weird because sometimes it just naturally happened. Like my timing, I never tried on that. It just like, after we would work through a model, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I just did this in this many minutes. And like, it was just crazy. And then it just kept happening. And I was like, okay, cool. I guess this is the new normal.
I will say that's for two reasons. One, we did the mindset, the lies you were believing that was keeping you from believing in yourself, that made you slow. You were second guessing and it was slowing you down.
Yeah.
Two, it's because you were so willing to try something different and have it in your awareness to change how you did something. Your brain automatically applied that and started doing it.
Yeah, that's true. I can think of like two different scenarios of how I actually practically did something to change that. One would be in my booking system. I usually would put 30 minutes to book in between sessions because I was like just afraid that I was going to run over and all these things. And now I put 5 minutes in between and I just force myself. I'm like, no, you're going to be done at this time. And that's what it is, and it's really helped a lot, like having those specific guidelines.
Oh my gosh. That speaks so much to the concept that we will use exactly how much time we give ourselves to do things in a day. Time management principle there. Like, I could talk about that for hours because that's so true. Okay. True. So I think that we've talked about everything. One thing we really wanted to talk about is just the timeline of like, you committed to your growth and healing, regardless of how long that took. And you got so much healing, but then because you stuck with it past that 6 months, then we created the big stuff. Like, we're literally creating the life of your dreams because you weren't just locking yourself into just that 6 months. Yeah. You would have walked away with a completely changed brain, and you would have totally walked away with a healthy co-parenting relationship, better relationship skills, and getting out of that awful one you were stuck in if you had done the 6 months. But and that's still totally worth it. However, the big stuff, the life of your dreams, was on the other side of you being committed to the long term, to your growth, no matter how long that took or what it looked like.
Sorry.
So, it's okay. It happens. The other thing is just like your willingness to do the work in between sessions. It's so huge. And you really can, you'll always get results from the sessions because I am like helping you rewire your brain. Yeah. However, the pace at which you get there and like the big results are on the other side of you being willing to do the work. And you did that.
Yes.
So last thing I want to do is I want you to just like have an open moment to just, if anybody were considering coaching, like, what would you tell them?
Oh my gosh.
I put you on the spot.
No, I was just like, automatically, I thought back to like July of last year, 2020, when I first started working with you, or like right before I did, and how dramatically different my life is now. I still, to this day, like on a daily basis, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this really my life? And it's not even like where I want it to be, but I have enough awareness to know that you got to enjoy the process and like enjoy every day, And so I really, truly do. But I just, oh my God, I would say jump as fast and hard as you can. And I know it's terrifying, but man, if you just do this for 6 months or a year, I mean, at least a year, if I had only stopped at a year, I mean, the results would have been insane, but I'm so happy I didn't. Like, I'm going past a year now, like a year and 3 months or so.
Yeah.
And I would say, honestly, in the last 3 months past that year part is where some of like the hugest breakthroughs have been for me and the most dramatic life shifts that I have ever seen. I'm like a different person in a great way. My life is a dream. Like, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's like, I'm traveling all the time. I love it. Actually, this is really funny. I'm just going to throw this in here really fast, but I had bought a suitcase for myself. It was on sale at TJ Maxx, like in the end or summer, I think it was like the fall of 2019, because I was really wanting to travel like a lot. And I had put it on my little vision board that year that I was going to travel. And I bought the suitcase and I was like, it's funny because I never used it. Like all of 2020, I never used my suitcase because of the pandemic and I just never traveled. And I was like, that's some BS right there, And then I was looking at my suitcase today and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I use this suitcase all the time now. And it's so funny how sometimes you buy something or you think of something or you plant a seed like before, and then all of a sudden it comes full circle. And once you work through all your stuff, it's like you finally get the bigger picture, So now I get to use my suitcase all the time and travel, and I love it. And I can still work and stuff. So
perfect example of how we worked on so many other things, but we were able to create another result, like a fringe benefit, because we worked on your income. Now you're able to afford to do that kind of thing. That's something you've always wanted to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I have to say too, whenever, like, one of the things I was thinking about on my way home was like, okay, these are the steps that I want to take. This is what I need to do. This is what I want. And I need more income. So for those things. And so I'm like, okay, so these are the steps that I'm going to take. I'm going to work with Jenny and I'm going to do these things to get there so that I can get that amount of money so that I can get the thing that I want or do whatever I want. And so it's like, you just keep up leveling as much as you really want to up level. Really. I mean, it's a choice.
Right. Like you said, the longer you stick with it, the more you grow. Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing is we're constantly rewiring your brain the whole time. And so over time, it's because those beliefs that we're rewiring keep building and building and building. Yeah. It's a snowball effect. Now you have a year's worth, the new thoughts and old thoughts gone that are now culminating to the point where you can create these massive breakthroughs for yourself because you have like really such a different brain than you had a year ago.
It's so true. Oh my God. I look at myself and I'm just like, man, I'm not the same person. In a good way.
In a very literal sense, because you have your brain is made up of a different structure now than it was a year ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
All right. Thank you, Katie, so much.
You're
really
welcome.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks
for sharing.
Oh my gosh, of course. Thank you for all that you do for me. I obviously wouldn't be here without you. So I'm very thankful.
You're welcome. All right. Bye.
Bye.